And as you were about to exit, you struck him on the chest and facial area.
Ma'am, that's all incorrect.
I don't know why when people go to places, how hard it is to follow instructions. When they say you can't do something, you can't do it.
Themselves.
No, that's the law.
Told me that.
I'm telling you, that's the
Well,
law.
I'll tell you, I didn't know, and other people didn't know.
That's the law. It's always been the law. Who work there, it's yes or no. It's not And then when people tell you that, you can't start hitting somebody.
We've got an entitled brat that thinks the law doesn't apply to him and he can do whatever he pleases. This guy strolls into a polling station rocking campaign gear like it's his own personal rally. And when he's told to take it off because, you know, it's literally the law, he loses it. Instead of complying like every other functioning adult, he decides the best course of action is to start an argument with the poll worker who's literally just trying to do his job. And when that doesn't go his way, he takes things into his own hands, literally, by assaulting the man. It's one of those moments where ego meets reality and the results are both predictable and pathetic. So the only question left is how deep can one man dig himself before the judge drops the shovel on him?
Did you understand?
Yeah.
That's either yes or no.
Yeah.
Counsel, have there been any such motions?
No, Your Honor.
Outside the agreement, the state is requesting that your community supervision be for a term of 2 years. There be a TAP evaluation, 200 hours community service restitution, no contact with Mario Montemayor, and the hostility management course. Did you understand those are recommendations from the state and the court does not have to follow those recommendations?
Yes, ma'am.
Then to the lesser included offense, how do you plead? Guilty, not guilty, or no contest?
No contest.
State any evidence. After reviewing state's exhibits and attachments, the court will find there is sufficient evidence to find you guilty. Court will defer finding of guilt as you've applied for deferred adjudication. Are you proceeding with sentencing?
We are, yeah.
Anything you wish to say on behalf of your client?
Just that we wish that you follow the agreement, Your Honor.
All right, what were your issues that day?
Were my issues with you?
Yes.
Well, I couldn't believe it was happening because all I wanted to do was go vote.
No, the problem was not you going to vote. And I will tell you, I teach campaign and election law. And when people at a location tell you that you're not allowed to wear certain items when you go into the voting booth, you're not allowed to do that. When they tell you you're not allowed to wear certain items when you're entering doors, you're not allowed to do that.
They told me it wasn't posted anywhere, and the people that were working there didn't know themselves.
No, that's the law.
Told me that.
I'm telling you, that's the
Well,
law.
I'll tell you, I didn't know, and other people didn't know. I'm explaining my situation. That doesn't seem that anybody's heard yet.
Oh, well, let me just tell you what it says in here in the police report, because maybe you didn't read it. It says you were walking in and the person, they have judges who are there for voting and they have people who are working there, who work there. It's yes or no. It's not They were working there and they told you you needed to remove your hat because it was not allowed inside the voting area. And that's the law. And that's always, but here's the thing. That's the law. It's always been the law. For example, I can't walk around with a T-shirt with my name on it saying vote for me and go in the voting booth. It's not allowed. Once you get to a certain point and it's that 100-yard line that they have, when you cross into that area, you're not allowed to be in line with T-shirts about who you support. You're not allowed to do that. That's the law. And then when people tell you that, you can't start hitting somebody. And it says on here that your wife even tried to stop you.
Ma'am, that's all incorrect. Do you want me to explain? Can I explain?
Sure. And if you want a jury trial, I'll give you one.
Well, I'm not talking to you. I just want to explain because it's incorrect what they're saying. I was in line for 45 minutes before I actually got to vote. They asked me to remove my hat then after I was standing there for 45 minutes. So I removed it. I put it in my lower back. I went through the whole voting situation. When I went out the other side, this person that had already harassed me in 2 other previous times that I went to go vote in a different location was again there. I walked away from him twice, 2 other times when he was verbally harassing me. Okay, this is the 3rd time. And this 3rd time, I walked away from him again twice. He would not let me walk out of that place without harassing me and getting physical with me.
All right, so
that's what my wife was trying to.
Let me tell you what it says in here. And I go by this document.
Does this guy think he's above the law or something? He's in court acting confused about why it's illegal to wear campaign gear inside of a polling place. as if election laws are optional now. The judge literally spells it out, and he still argues like it's up for debate. Imagine questioning the law in front of someone whose entire career is enforcing it. That's like arguing with a mechanic about how engines work because you watched one YouTube video. If something is in the election code, you either follow it or you don't vote that day. It's that simple. But no, this guy wanted to start an altercation instead just to prove some pointless point. He's claiming the poll worker was harassing him, but really the only person doing the harassing was him. Waiting in line for 5 minutes apparently turned into a full-blown civil rights crisis for him. Everyone else was following the same rules without issue, but he took it as a personal attack. That's the thing about entitlement. It makes every inconvenience feel like oppression. The poll worker didn't humiliate him. The man humiliated himself by forgetting the first rule of democracy. You can't fight the law and win. And now, thanks to his tantrum, he's getting a front row lesson in what voter misconduct really means.
It says that the complainant went on by explaining that as part of his duties, he is supposed to advise voters that they are not permitted to wear or display candidates on their person while they are on the polling premises. It says he observed an older adult male inside the polling premises, and you had displayed campaign material, which was your hat. He observed the violation. He contacted the male and advised him that he would need to refrain from wearing the hat while on the premises. The complainant explained that the male complied with his instructions while he was voting, but then put the hat back on as he was making his way to exit the premises. At the time, the male was still inside the building and clearly well within the premises. Due to still being well within the premises, he approached you again and advised you to remove the hat while he was on the premises. The male, that's you, explained that he was on his way out and refused to comply. And it says, he began to follow you and told you again to remove your hat. And as you were about to exit, you struck him on the chest and facial area several times with your fist, causing him pain and discomfort. And then it says, another witness and your wife began telling you to stop. And then that's when you left. I don't know why when people go to places, how hard it is to follow instructions. When they say you can't do something, you can't do it. And if you want to complain about it, complain to your legislature. If you want to wear campaign materials inside a location while you're voting, if you want to wear it within the 100 lines, because they have those lines marked with a white, sometimes yellow line. If you want to do that, then you need to write your legislator and say, look, you need to change these rules because I want to wear my campaign gear inside the area while I'm voting. But for now, you're not allowed to do that. And you need to follow the rules. How old are you?
4.
All right, you're 64 and you're up here fighting and I don't even call it fighting because it doesn't say that he ever even hit you back.
Yeah, of course.
And so you're up here fighting with somebody who's just trying to do their job, help people come in and vote and go on your merry way. And they're not even paid enough money for somebody to be hitting on them. So it appears to me you do have anger issues.
No, I don't have anger. Like I said, I walked away twice. And in the situation, I walked away twice. There's anything in there where he followed me all the way and he screamed in my ear. I have hearing difficulties from my time in the military. I didn't hear what he was saying. I was walking out and he was quite a ways.
Did he not tell you to remove your campaign gear?
No.
And that you were not allowed in the area?
That was after the fact when I had already gone out. I was in the library section already.
Let me just tell you, within that 100 line, you are not allowed to wear campaign gear. Now, if you're saying what's being said is untrue, then you need to set this for a jury trial because I go specifically by what's in the police reports. And there's a reason why this says waiver consent to stipulation of testimony and stipulations. You know what that means? That means that everything is in this document. You're stipulating that it is true and correct. And this is what it says. I, Jesse Lutzenberger, do hereby judicially confess and admit that I intentionally and knowingly in Bexar County, Texas, on or about the 24th of October, 2024, did intentionally and knowing cause injury to the complainant by striking the complainant with the hand of the defendant and by pushing the complainant with the hand of the defendant. You stipulated to that and said it's true.
Anything about him punching at me first?
What I'm telling you is you're saying this is true. You've stipulated to this. Now, if you're saying he punched you first, then maybe you want a jury trial and you want to say it's self-defense.
It's on video. The only reason why I'm accepting that is because I don't have the money to continue. Or of course I would defend myself.
All right, does he want a jury trial?
No, we're accepting the plea.
Oh, is your wife, is somebody here?
My wife is here.
Oh, she said, no, you don't want a jury trial.
Okay, no.
How are you going to argue what happened when there's literally witnesses and your own wife yelling at you to stop? That's not bias, that's evidence. But now that he's in front of the judge, he suddenly turns into this soft-spoken, misunderstood victim. Classic move. He's about to find out that claiming self-defense doesn't work when you're the one who threw the first punch. How hard is it to keep your hands to yourself? We all learned that in kindergarten, but apparently he must have missed that class. The guy's 64 years old, acting like he's auditioning for an episode of Cops. He keeps denying he has anger issues, but you can practically see the steam coming out of his ears. Even his own lawyer looks like he's counting down the seconds until he can clock out. If you're so convinced you acted in self-defense, you'd want to take it to trial to prove it, right? But no, he's suddenly fine with a plea deal, which screams guilt more than any witness could ever. Even his wife says no to jury trial, which pretty much seals it. The man's version of events is as shaky as his temper. What's wild is how he keeps doubling down like this is a debate club, not a courtroom. He's arguing himself straight into a harsher sentence, and the judge's patience is wearing thinner than the excuses he keeps recycling.
Your Honor, if I may, I believe that, look, point being there's, as you stated, that's completely clear. The law is the law. I think that there was a fundamental miscommunication and understanding as far as how it was proffered to him at that time. I think that realistically, the way people speak, someone told him, take off the hat while you're voting. I think in his head, that's what he believed. Hey, take the hat off. I'm walking out the door. I'm basically at the double doors. I can put the hat back on. Understanding clearly that is still in violation of the law. But I want to make clear, it's not like the statute book was not pulled out and read to him at this time to understand the 100 feet. Again, it's not an excuse, but I think where his mind was coming at, he had finished voting, he had waited the 45 minutes, and he was leaving, and then he had an individual come up and approach him. Just to give some context, it's not change, obviously, the law itself or your viewpoint of this, but
my viewpoint is the stipulations that I received.
Understood.
All right. There's going to be a $500 fine, 2 years deferred adjudication, 200 hours of community service restitution, proof of employment within 30 days, no employment as a home health care provider or with minors. There's going to be the hostility management course, regular reporting by Zoom or in person, regular random UAs, field visits 1 time per month for 6 months. And there's to be no contact with Mario Montemayor. Probation, is there anything else? Judge. Is there anything else you need from the court to be successful?
No, I would like to say that all this is my self-defense. Because nobody wants to be harassed or bullied in front of their significant other.
Yeah. I understand. You know what? I understand here's the thing. I understand what you're saying. And I understand sometimes that tempers run high, right? And sometimes when we don't know the law, and if somebody just tells you, you can't do that, sometimes people want to know why I can't do that. And they want you to explain it. Sometimes people will explain it. Sometimes they will not. For example, I try to explain everything so people will know why things are happening. So now you know, and I'm telling you, yeah. So here's the thing. This is what I'm telling you. When you see, if you go vote again, when you see that line, you are not to cross that line with any campaign materials. And that's why when you see candidates who are out there talking to people, they're not allowed to go past that line. You know why? Because you are not allowed to campaign past that line. And wearing T-shirts or any type of hats or anything for whatever candidate you support, whether you say anything or not, that's considered campaigning. And legally, you're not allowed to do that. And if people want to change the law where they can wear their campaign shirts or whatever beyond that line, you have to do that with your legislator. My job is just to follow the law. You understand?
Mm-hmm. Yes. This happened in Georgia and it happened in South Carolina, I think, and the people still got to go and went on their ways.
Well,
Different place, right?
this is Texas.
Yeah.
All right. Did you review the document entitled Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Rights to Appeal with your attorney? Did you understand it and sign it?
Yes.
All right. Because this is plea bargain agreement, because I followed your plea bargain agreement, and because you waive your right to appeal, you do not have the court's permission to appeal. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Ms. Abrams will speak to you.
Okay.
All right. Thank you.
In the end, the judge gives him 2 years of adjudication and a mandatory hostility management course, which, let's be real, he desperately needs. Maybe it'll help, maybe it won't, but the message is clear. Actions have consequences, no matter how right you think you are. He's lucky he didn't end up serving actual jail time, because assaulting a poll worker during an election isn't something courts take lightly. The fact that he's still pleading self-defense after the verdict just proves the judge made the right call. Like, she already heard you the first time, she didn't buy it then, and she's definitely not buying it now. At some point, you've got to stop arguing and start reflecting. This whole situation shows how quickly ego can turn a routine civic duty into a criminal record. It's not about politics, it's about accountability. But what do you think? Was the judge too lenient, too harsh, or just right on the mark? Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and take care.